All right, everybody, let's put together and hold your alto saxophone. Here we go. So first off, we got to open up this case. So remember that you got to make sure that the case reads like a book, okay? If you try to open it up where the thing is upside down and it looks like it's upside down, that's wrong. Your stuff will fall over the place and you'll feel dumb. Love you, mean it. Make sure it reads like a book. Open it up. Great job. You did it. It didn't fall out. I'm going to set mine on the ground because I don't like to tempt fate. First thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your neck strap. I know that seems kind of weird, but I always like to put the neck strap on first. I like to raise up my neck strap a little bit so that I can make sure it's sort of close to where I like it. I remember this. You'll eventually learn where yours is at too. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the body of our saxophone, the big piece, the big thing, the big boy, okay? And we're going to find this little hole back here. See this little hole? That's not just for show. That's where we're going to lock and load, okay? All right, it's on. Now, here's the thing. I can set it like this and walk around and probably like never have my saxophone fall and break. However, I don't like to tempt fate. I usually never just let it roll around like hanging from my neck. I'm always supporting it. Why? Because this little piece is held on by something called solder, and solder on metal inevitably fails. And if this thing hits the concrete, it's bad news. Just put it that way. Very expensive. You might just have to buy a new one. Like, it's that bad. So always support the saxophone. This is more just like a safeguard and also a way for you to like manage playing a little bit better. Okay, enough about that. Once you've got it on, locked and loaded, then we're gonna grab our neck. Remember this guy from when we learned how to buzz? Yep, or make our first noise at least. All right, so we're gonna get this guy and we're gonna carefully put it into the top part of the saxophone like this. When you go to do this motion, we want to make sure we grab above the octave key. Okay? I like to put my palm against the metal, not on top. And then wiggle it down. Great. Awesome job. Then we're going to grab our mouthpiece, ligature, and reed. Mouthpiece, ligature, and reed. Have that ready to go. And most of y'all have already done this part, but we're going to put because we did our mouthpiece and neck already. So let's go ahead and put this on. We're going to, again, not hurt our octave key up here. Grab against the side with the palm, not grabbing onto the top and squeezing against that top rod. We have to protect that at all costs. That's our queen, okay? If it gets damaged, our whole thing is messed up. Well, ligature on next. Okay, and then reed. We got to get this fella on the moist side. Make sure you don't forget the back end. All right, now don't forget we're going to set it against. Actually, I do this differently with more mature players. I do it differently when I'm working with myself. But we need to do it consistently. So let's put it down like this and walk it down ever so slightly with the ligature. You don't need to see that close. Once you're there, get it lined up. Make sure the ligature is low enough on the reed. Sometimes I have to unscrew my screws so that I can get my ligature into the right spot. Once you're in there and you've tightened up your screws enough so that the reed's not going to move on you when you give it a wiggle, it should look like that. Or something close to it. Okay. All right. Don't forget to tighten your screw right here. Just a smidge, just a little bit, okay? You don't have to ratchet it down. When I say a little, I mean like enough to barely feel tension, so this thing isn't spinning around like a helicopter, okay? We don't want this thing like super loosey-goosey. Just a little bit, just to make sure it kind of stays into place. All right, so Mr. Butler, how do we hold this thing? All right, so saxophone is held up more easily because of the neck strap. we're going to take our right hand thumb. Everybody hold up your right hand. I, Mr. Butler, solemnly swear that right hand. Get your thumb underneath this black piece right here. We call it the thumb rest. Get it underneath there. Okay? Then you're going to push forward, and you're going to get that neck kind of in line with yourself. Okay? From the front, makes a straight line with the body. I'm not in the habit of teaching people. Well, hello, Mr. Bass Guitar. It's not fall tonight. I'm not in the habit of like telling people to play off to the side like a jazz band player. This is something that people do sometimes, but I'm not going to teach you how to play like that today. That is for a much different time. So, straight in line with the body. Mouthpiece is in straight line. Okay, from the back, like that. All right, great. Once you've got it straight in line, we're going to tell you where to put your fingers. So the right hand is the easiest because the right hand has 3 dedicated little white pearls. That's very obvious. So the right hand will just sit index, middle, ring. Index, middle, ring. Okay. These pinky keys do something, but I'm not going to tell you what they do right now. You're just going to have to guess or look it up on your own. So that's the right hand. The left hand is the part where people get a little bit confused. Okay. So we're going to take our left hand and we're going to put it like so. I'm going to have to hold this up a little bit weird. All right. So see, there's like a bajillion white keys here. Not everybody's saxophone is going to have the white keys in the same spot. I've seen instruments where this key doesn't have a pearl on it. It's just like a piece of metal that you push against. So this is kind of tricky. Basically, if you feel an indentation where the button feels like it's going in, that is a button where you will put your finger, okay? So skip one, put your index finger there. Skip this one, put your middle finger there. And then you have nowhere else for your next finger to go but right here. You will only use these 3 fingers on these 3 keys for a long time. I eventually will show you what to do with these pinky keys. They're super fun, but I'm not going to tell you right now. So again, skip one, skip this one, drop the 3rd right next to the 2nd one. Okay? That's what it looks like. All right. Now, when you go to play for real, those fingers will be in those spots. Left hand and right hand. All right. Now, when I go to push this thing forward and play, I want to be able to just talk and have this mouthpiece resting against my teeth ever so slightly. Right now, my saxophone is too low by about an inch because that's not meeting my teeth. So I'm going to raise it up. There we go. Okay. So now when I go to put my teeth on top of the mouthpiece, I'm in a power stance and my throat's open and I feel really boss, like I've got a great posture. Okay. Take a moment and try to play a no button note, no fingers, all open. Oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. Thumb. Your thumb goes against this little black piece over here. Don't push that button yet. It's for another time. Just push it against the black thing. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So, feet on top. Let's just play an open note, no fingers down. If you did it correctly, it should sound semi-close to that. If your mouthpiece is not all the way on the cork, if it's like really high up, then you may sound quite different than me. If your mouthpiece is pushed all the way in on the cork and you don't have any cork showing, then same thing, it might sound different than me. But this is called a C sharp. It's a pretty odd note to play on the saxophone. You have to do some stuff to make it in tune, but generally, this is a great note to start on at first. Make sure your teeth are on top and you have a great inside of the mouth space. Okay, once you've got a great sound on it and your fingers are doing right, let's play the first note we're going to play at the end of this week, which is going to be a C, regular C. we're going to push down our middle finger and our left hand. Middle finger and the left hand. Okay? This one right here. Okay? So that's the saxophone. When you're finished and you've practiced that note a bunch and you feel like you're accomplished and you got all your fingers in the right space and you never mess that up, then it's time to put it away for the day. We never want to leave our reed on the mouthpiece overnight because then it'll start growing stuff and then you're putting that growing stuff in your mouth. And do you really want to put that growing stuff in your mouth? Probably not, no. So make sure you take the reed off carefully. Reed back into the case it came in. And I tell people all the time, this is the part where you can really mess up your reed. You got to be careful and slow here, okay? If you try to jam that sucker in, you're going to end up chipping the tip of it, and then you're out $3 or $3.50, okay? All right. Once you've got that done, ligature off. Make sure that you take your mouthpiece off of your cork. I know it's really easy for us as saxophone players because we have this big old cavity inside of our case to just leave the mouthpiece on all the time. But what that does to the cork over time is it makes this cork not be as plush. And then when you go to put your mouthpiece on and off, it won't actually grab at the end of it. And sometimes we need it to be far out, especially like in marching band. When you get into high school, you're not going to want that to be loosey-goosey. You're going to have to pull out quite a bit. So always take it off so that the cork has time to expand. Okay, end of rant. Neck back in its spot. Make sure you take your body and put it in the case correctly. And that's saxophone. So I look forward to getting your video, playing your first note in band. Have a great time with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Good job. You're the best.